F1 heads to Brazil for the penultimate round of the Americas Tour. And one piece of important news before the weekend, Charles Leclerc's engaged. And here's live footage of every single 15-year-old girl around the world. Don't worry, that'll probably be me when Leah Block gets engaged, although I won't be going to an event and putting up signs like these. This is why would you do this? I have to address the last video because people were calling it simping and glaze. But if it was simping and glaze, what was my Alex Albon video? And these two were pretty much the same video. I just called her pretty a few times, but to be fair, yeah, I probably got carried away with the Oasis edits. Speaking on Williams drivers, they have a special livery this weekend. The Golf livery. People are pointing back to the 2021 McLaren Golf livery, but it looks a lot more like the 2016 manner. That makes sense, since Carlos Sainz is not Williams, that means Roberto Merri's in the paddock with Williams every time this season. The 2008 Crashgate court case finally has a conclusion, and that it was a Felipe Massa skill issue. That's quite literally what the court said. Anyways, what happened in sprint qualifying? Lewis Hamilton gets knocked out of SQ2 because Charles Leclerc spun round and caused the yellow flag. And people are saying this was on purpose. I really don't think it was. Charles Leclerc has a tendency to overpush a lot. And in SQ3, Kimi Antonelli has got the spirit of Ayrton Senna after visiting his memorial. Because how is he only 900ths away from Lando Norris? Piastri's times are a bit more competitive to Lando than the past few weekends. I mean, only 2/10 off of him after normally being 4/10 off in the past 3 races. So, you know, maybe he's getting his mojo back.
Antonelli, very confident.
Oh,
in the wall! In the wall and out of the race! The slippery conditions put Piastri in the barriers!
I'm not gonna go out here and say that this was Oscar Piastri's fault. It wasn't. It was just the tricky conditions. In fact, other drivers were caught off guard by this curb as well. It was just an unlucky wet patch. And unfortunately, Piastri was the one who was caught out from this. Does this mean Lando Norris is officially the world champion? Because he's the informed driver right now, and Piastri's pace isn't looking the best, as we saw later on in the day in the actual qualifying session. He was out-qualified by Charles Leclerc and freaking Kimi Antonelli, who, as I said, has the spirit of Ayrton Senna this weekend. But with Piastri, it ain't over till it's over. As I said, Lenny Kravitz. I've been saying that throughout the whole year, but it's looking less and less likely. And I did say that Piastri will finish the title in Las Vegas. Oh gosh. And I would like to formally apologize to this comment right here. I think I called it dumb in one of my other videos after that. I believe it was the Belgian Grand Prix one. Thank God Gabriel Bortoleto is safe after this. That's an absolutely scary high-speed crash. And he hit the wall like 2 times there. His DRS just didn't close. It's similar to Jack Doohan in Japan. Gabby tried to go for a very late move there, and yeah, just unsettled the car like crazy. And yeah, unfortunately, he couldn't move on to qualifying, which, imagine what he could have done in qualifying, because Nico Hülkenberg made it to Q3 for the first time this season. Anyways, be sure to subscribe. We're only 30 away from 10,000. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. A bit of sad news before we talk about the race. The Williams prediction streak is officially over. If you've been following my channel throughout the year, everything I've predicted for Williams has gone correct. In my preseason video, I said they'll finish 5th in the constructors. They're currently 5th and no one's looking to challenge them at the moment. I said one of them will get a podium in Baku or Monza. They got it in Baku. Then I said Leah Block will get her first F1 Academy win in Singapore. She got it in Singapore. Then I said Alex Albon would get his first podium in Singapore or Brazil. Those are probably the 2 worst tracks to predict this for Williams, but hear me out, they were the 2 remaining races on the calendar that were forecasted to be wet, and those were the conditions needed for Williams to be on the podium, because I don't think they can do it on pure pace in the dry. But unfortunately, it just did not come true. Although Alex did get his first fastest lap of his career. Can we count this? Can we? It doesn't count. Williams, please don't use Golf liveries ever again. It seems like y'all get unlucky with the Golf liveries. Like in Singapore 2023, Albon was on for a P9 finish until Sergio Perez happened. Logan Sargent got sick in Qatar, and then now y'all were just off the pace. So I guess I'm not flying to Las Vegas. A, because no one will invite me, and B, I said in one of the videos, I forgot which one it was, that if every single one of my predictions for Williams comes true, I'll fly to Las Vegas and gamble all my life savings away. So I guess I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, Let's talk about the race now. Lap 1 was pretty chaotic. Me and Lance Stroll are officially off. Gabby had such a good start. I would even say if they did the one stop, he was on for a podium finish. Lance, why did you do that, mate? I mean, I think I know why he did that. His spatial awareness sucks. Lewis Hamilton had a really good start in the sprint, and in the race, he had a very bad start. Thank you, Carlos, although this is more Lewis. I'd say this is more Lewis than Carlos. This was very similar to Qatar in 2023. Lewis got floor damage from this, and to add insult to injury, Colapinto, mate. You moved too many times on that straight. I thought it'd be reasonable for Ferrari to retire him immediately after this, but surprisingly they didn't. I mean, what, he lost 20 points of downforce from this, even more. Carlos lost 15 points of downforce from the contact with Lewis. But yeah, he eventually retired. And you know who else retired? Charles Leclerc. Kimi Antonelli, when I catch you, buddy. This is not Piastri's fault. I don't understand the penalty for Piastri. At first glance, I did think it was his fault, but he had nowhere to go. Yeah, sure, he did lock up, but Antonelli was closing in that door a lot. He had so much space around the outside, partially due to Charles Leclerc leaving them room so that they can collide and he can go away scot-free. But he still ends up being collateral damage. That's just the luck of Charles Leclerc for you right there. But no, that was not a penalty to Piastri. I'm not even sure if I would give one to Antonelli. But since Charles Leclerc was collateral damage, maybe he does deserve a 5-second, but 10 seconds is what Piastri got, and that is way too harsh on an incident like this. So, no, not a penalty this one, even though this pissed me off a lot, because we got absolutely shafted for this. 2 weekends in a row where I stay up till 4 a.m. for no reason at all. Well, Mexico was 5 a.m. At least the next race in Vegas is at 12 p.m., a very reasonable time. Max Verstappen had a brilliant drive, but I think he was kind of helped by his puncture in the beginning. If he didn't have that puncture, he would have had to use the hards for a much longer time. Those tires were absolutely horrible, but thanks to the puncture, he was able to switch over to the mediums, which was I think it was the best tire in this race without a doubt. So he could do 2 stops on the mediums instead without doing the hards, and that was the best strategy in this race in my opinion after getting rid of the hards on lap 1. Oh, but Red Bull, I don't get stopping him for the softs. If I was in that position, I'll go for every single risk possible. You're not going to win the championship by going the safest way out. You're going to win the championship by going bold and aggressive. And yeah, he should have extended those mediums. If Liam Lawson can hold up that many people, Max Verstappen can as well. And Lando's mediums weren't exactly fresh either. They were 12 laps old when they boxed him. Would Lando have been able to fly by Max easily? Yeah, probably, but then if you look at historically and throughout this season, like in Miami and Austin, Max will do anything to keep ahead, so I think it was definitely possible, and Antonelli was able to keep Verstappen behind as well. Let's not forget about that. Nonetheless, it was a great drive from Max Verstappen, and was a complete opposite for Oscar Piastri. Piastri is the driver I want to see win this World Championship, because there hasn't been an Australian world champion since Alan Jones. But just like the last Australian that was in contention for the championship, he's been throwing it away for the past few races. And I think the biggest reason is they are no longer sharing data with each other. They stopped sharing data with each other after the Singapore Grand Prix, and you can clearly see that correlation. Singapore was the last time Piastri outqualified Lando. Now he hasn't outqualified him since. I'm ready to accept that Piastri isn't going to be the world champion this year. I'm ready to accept that's going to be Lando Norris. A lot of people can't though. So many people still hate him, but I'll save that video for another day. Oliver Behrman. I'm seeing so much shades of 2018 Charles Leclerc from him in the late part of this season. And yeah, today his pace was so good. Throughout the weekend, his pace was so good. I think he scored a point in every race since Singapore, which is nice. I really don't know who the best rookie on the grid is anymore, because Hadjar had a really good run to start the season. Portoletto had a really good run in the middle of the season, and Antonelli and Behrman have been cooking lately. I think these 4 are equal. I don't think there's an incorrect answer between any of them. Anyways, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know what you think of this race in the comments below, and if you think Piastri can still put in a charge towards the end of the season. I don't think so. I think it's too late. Lando's form is way too good at the moment. But anyways, thanks for watching and goodbye.